All right, back in the Pour and Crush studio this evening for another segment of Ready to Bust. And we've got a great guest tonight, Madison Wilde, who is surging right now in the adult industry, like so many of our guests on this podcast or this feature where we really kind of try to elevate and play up some of the newcomers in the adult industry that are creating a buzz. And Madison, start off and just kind of tell us a little bit about Madison Wilde, where you grew up, what your passions were as a teenager and moving into adulthood here.
Ooh, I was born and raised in LA. All my life been here.
Yeah.
In high school, I was a band kid.
Mm-hmm.
That was played marching band. I played the trombone, played the alto sax, the tenor sax,
Right.
bari sax, and clarinet. I was a little bit of a nerd.
Oh wow, you were versatile.
Yeah, I was just trying to get around, No, what else?
Yeah.
Hobbies. Oh, I liked playing like video games. I was like a Call of Duty like zombies girl. I suck at like actual online stuff. But I like playing zombies.
You still do? You still play a lot of games?
I'll play occasionally. Like I'll get like really into like stupid games like City Skylines, where it's just like yourself and it's like a problem solving game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'll
Wow.
spend hours on that and I'll just all day.
Yeah. You shared with me in a conversation before, some of your, I guess, goals and ambitions when you were right around graduation. What would you be doing right now if you weren't in the adult industry, or what did you want to do?
I'd be sad. I'd be in college right now. I'd be studying with my nose in a book because I wanted to go into like obstetrics and gynecology, which is a 12-year program. You go
Right.
straight through. And when I saw 12 years, I was like, no, thank you. That's too
Wow.
much of a commitment for me for school before you start your whole like career.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of drew you to that field though? What made you interested in it?
I used to be in a medical club called like HOSA,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically introduced you to a bunch of like medical like professionals, a bunch of like medical fields, like, and it would like get you ready to join that field if you were going towards that.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
had like a lot of little experiences with them. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah,
In another world, in another life, maybe.
absolutely. So instead, you find your way into adult. And I know there's some interesting stories about how you kind of first, I don't know, maybe caught the bug for being on camera, sexually. Tell us about that.
I feel like mine's boring. It was more or less my boyfriend and I just like recording ourselves, and like posting little videos here and there on like Pornhub, and then like
Well, these weren't just little videos now, Madison. You really took off. I was looking at some of your stuff. 3.9 million views right now.
over years.
Well, it was I think the title was Latina Teen Blows Manager. Is that right?
Those were our good ones. Those were our hitters.
Right. Tell
Yeah.
everyone about that story and how that unfolded.
I didn't realize how like reality porn based it was, but it was all real. My boyfriend, he was my manager at McDonald's, but we were dating before then, so it wasn't like I, fuck my manager to get where I was at. But that was
Right.
just part of the storyline, so it was funny.
Yeah.
But he's my manager. And then COVID times came along, and we both lived at different places. I couldn't go over to his house because his mom. I couldn't go over to my house because my mom.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
issues of young people.
Yeah.
So we would fool around in the car, and that's when we realized that I could fit underneath his seat. And I was like, okay, hold on, let's make this. Why aren't we film this?
Right.
So like, I've never seen a porn where a girl like literally went underneath like the seat
Right.
and like did the whole like blowjob there. I was like, oh, this is cool. I was like, this is a whole. I liked it. It was a vibe. I want to do those again, but like.
Right. And we're talking under the driver's seat too, so the
Yeah,
steering
that
wheel
was
is
a
right behind your head. You weren't leaning over. You were
no.
under that seat.
I was down in there. I
What
did that
did,
recently in my new car, and I was just like, it's a little smaller, but I tried.
so was it a bigger car with him? Was it an SUV type of vehicle,
No,
or was it
I mean it was
just?
an American car. It was a Dodge Charger.
Okay, yeah, those
Like
aren't.
a little extra room.
Wow. Any were there? I mean, you were blowing them in the car, but was it actually happening after a work shift ever, or
Yeah,
were there? Okay, so this
it
was
either
like a
happened
legit.
like after or before. Everything that was to happen was all real.
Okay.
Nothing
Okay.
was fake. Like there's one where I was like, oh, almost caught because there was literally like a homeless person like had come like right beside the car like and walked real slow. I was like, I had froze for a whole second because I was like, oh God. I was like, we're gonna get in trouble.
Were there ever hookups inside McDonald's, maybe in the back room? And the did you ever
I've
get
heard.
that?
I've always been too scared because I was, goody two shoes, a square in my life. But
Mm-hmm.
there was these people that literally like had sex right next to the Happy Meal toys, and I was like, oh, these poor kids, these
Yeah,
poor kids. I was like, you don't do that next to the toys.
right. Was your boyfriend at that time? Was he a lot older, similar in age? You said he was your manager, so I'm just wondering if it
Nah,
was.
him and I are high school sweethearts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, still, are you still with him?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you take off, and that video just explodes. Now it's up to millions of views. What did that? How'd that make you feel? Just to see the
I
kind
thought it was crazy, and then when slowly it started to get out that people from like our high school found out. And like I was
of.
okay with them finding out, but like we had younger siblings that were now in high school, and they were
Yeah.
getting they were getting sent some stuff, and I was like, oh, that's not cool, guys. I was like, you
Right.
guys can make fun of me, but like don't. I didn't. My little sister didn't get the worst of it, but like his brother, like people would send him links or screenshots of the videos, and I was like, ah, that's
Mm.
messed up. Don't like subject him to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you deal with the backlash? I know a lot of people in the industry deal with that, no matter if they've been in for a year or 10 years. Can you brush it off pretty easily, or did you at that time at age 18?
I always tell people when they're like questioning me, they're like, "Hey, I think I saw something." I was like, "What video did you watch?" I was like, "Did you like it?" I was like, "Cause I know
Hmm.
you watched a video, like you had to." And then most of the time they're like, "Yeah, I watched a video," and I'm like, "I know you did, like you had
Right.
to, you got curious."
Yeah, yeah. So that happens. And then at what point did you start thinking, hey, this is kind of cool? I mean, I'm obviously someone that people are going to watch. Maybe I should make the transition and do this as a career.
I always wanted to, I just didn't know how to get into the actual industry until about last year. I got
Hmm.
introduced to my buddy Tadpole, and
Hmm.
he introduced me to my first agency, and then that
Okay.
was like getting into the industry.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty late.
Right. Was it once you got in, was it did you feel at ease right off the bat? Kind of go through that first scene or two with me and just, your thoughts and maybe nerves or whatever going into it.
Well, I had a few like amateur scenes underneath my belt before I got into like the pro scene. But
Hmm.
like the amateur scenes, I don't like. I like blocked out because I was like, oh, it was a different time. I'm like like that was before
Yeah,
time.
those don't count. Right.
But like my first like pro scene I say is like Skoji, and that one
Hmm.
I really liked. It was a whole different experience because it's a whole like, they have 6 cameras. They have a whole bunch of lighting on you. It's not like a regular like studio set. It's like full on like on you. You're like, oh, I feel like a little experiment with all these lightings, all these people.
Yeah.
Even then, like I didn't feel weird. I was just like, just open up. Let's go. Let's
Right.
have some
Right.
fun. I had geeked out because the male talent was somebody that like I had. He had a tattoo right here, and I was like, I've seen that tattoo. And I had geeked out because I was like, oh my god. I was like, it's Tyler Nixon. I was like, I've
Oh,
seen him. Like a little like fan moment where you're like, ha.
yeah.
That's so
I
cool.
feel like I've done a handful of interviews where Tyler Nixon was the performer's first studio scene. I guess because
Yeah.
he does a lot with Xcoji.
Yeah.
Um, is did you find that porn sex was a lot different than real sex? Were you still able to enjoy sex on a studio set as you were in, I guess, real life?
Well, I think I'm a little like different because like my boyfriend was really the only person I've had like sex with like ever before I got into porn.
Hmm.
So
Oh
like
wow.
going into porn, I was like, what are all these positions? Like, what is this? What is this? I was like, oh, you guys are making me feel things I've never felt before. I was like,
Right.
this is a good time. I was like,
Yeah.
having a great time. Let's keep doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Any memory, anything particular from the first scene or two stand out where you were just kind of overwhelmed or
First,
had an incredible.
he definitely I could feel it like back here that I was like, oh Jesus Christ, like you were hitting something. I was
Yeah, yeah.
waiting to. But I was like, let's keep going. I wanna, cause I won't stop. I'll keep going. I'm not a quitter.
You powered through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool that your boyfriend and y'all have that relationship where you can do this. What um, Did y'all watch a lot of porn together before that? You said you knew Tyler Nixon. Did you have people in the industry that you kind of like fanned out on or followed and liked a lot? Or
I don't think so because I was like into I was into watching it like back back in the day, but then like, I
mm-hmm.
kind of like strayed away from it, especially like the first like few months of me being in porn, especially because I was like, oh, like all the glamour has been taken away. Like I see how everything's done now. I'm like, oh, I was like,
Right.
this is all I was like, that was like, it's all fake. I was like, I'm telling all my friends. I was like, do you know this is what happens? I was like, this is. I was dropping all the little secrets on them. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this and this and this. I was like, it's all fake, guys. I was like, but then I was like, now I watch it and I'm like, oh, I wonder how they cut this out. I'm like, oh, I wonder how they went around this. I was like, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool now. But him and
Right.
I like watching porn together. I think it's really fun. But like, I'm a person that likes to watch for the storyline, and he likes to
Mm-hmm.
watch for like mostly the acts. And I'm like, I'm good just for the story. Like, I don't need to see the rest of the video.
Right. Right. It makes the scene a little hotter without question when there's some
Right.
storyline behind it. Where's the type of scenes or genres in porn, I guess, where you feel like you're at your best? Like maybe it's a POV or a VR or just a boy girl or a group or whatever, or just even maybe a sexual act. Like where do you feel like you really flourish?
I feel like I was really good at like BJ's, but then like at least like my BJ videos, I think I really liked them. I thought they were really good. But then like doing
Mm-hmm.
like porn BJ's, I feel like they're definitely like way different. Just because like I never really focused on the whole like spittiness and like gagginess and like sloppiness. I was
Mm-hmm.
just more of like seeing what he likes and like reacting on that. And I thought like that was fun, but like because you're working with somebody new most of the time, you can't like
Mm-hmm.
you don't always like know exactly how to react and like what they like, or you're just like, okay, like do they like what I'm doing? Like should I keep doing this? And you
Yeah.
don't like keep changing it every like 10 seconds.
Is that something that's talked about before the scene? Like, do you ask the guy, like, when I'm doing that, what can I do
I try
to make
and
it
like
better?
ask the guy. I'm like, hey, like, what do you like? Just so I know. Like, do you want me to, like, are you like a ball sucky, like a ball licky? Like, which would what does it for you? Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
like usually,
Yeah.
like they'll let me know. Or like sometimes, like some guys are kind of like not boring, but they're not like as like wanting to talk, and they're kind of just sit there with their headphones. And I'm like,
Oh,
we're gonna do stuff in like 10 minutes. You don't want to have like
yeah.
just a small little conversation before.
Let's
What
build
are
a
we doing
little
on that? I'm
chemistry
like,
here.
okay, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We'll have a fun time. I'll try my
Yeah.
best.
Are you someone that watches yourself, your scenes after they've come out to try to kind of, you know, study what you're doing and improve, or do you do you not
I
do that?
I wasn't. Well, sometimes if they send me my scene that I can actually watch it, then I'll watch it. But not everybody like
Mm-hmm.
sends it so you can watch it. I'll have to watch like the free version. But
Right.
like I my first scene, like my first like Excoji just came out last month, and one of my
Mm-hmm.
subscribers is gonna give me like his login and stuff to watch it because I was dying to watch this one. I was like, I need to see what my first scene looked like.
Yeah.
And like now, more recently, like I've been watching like my own content just because it was with someone that I liked, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good
Mm-hmm.
video. And I watched it, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a good video. I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
look at that, like opening up, and then like I'd have other little side notes. So I was like, okay, like make sure your hair is up because I have all these like little hairs like get in the way. Oh, we
Mm-hmm.
need to make sure those are back because that looks stupid. Just making little
Right.
like side notes, or like whenever I
Yeah.
go to a shoot, like if the director's nice, I'll usually go and ask them like, hey, like, is there any like feedback you can give me to improve? Just because I'm still new, I want to improve, I want to
Mm-hmm.
get better. Just
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. One thing I have heard about you, Madison, from several people is just kind of the vibe you give on set. You usually show up with a very good attitude, very good energy. I mean, have you learned how important that kind of stuff is, and just you know having a professional way about yourself, how far that can go in having a successful career?
I don't know. I just always thought like, why would I have, like I'll be upset like sometimes like going to the shoot, but I'm like, why would I be upset when I'm out there? Like I'm having a good day. What could be worse than this? Like I'm gonna go in, work for a few hours, drive back home. Like what I used to work in.
Mm.
I think it's the people that like go into porn like right away that they'll have like a shitty viewpoint on life. So, like I worked at McDonald's. Like I worked at like a dentist office. Like I I know, like, not what like hard work is, but like I know what some work is. Like, it could be worse. This is a good day.
Right.
It's a good life. Like, why would like it's so fun. You meet new people every day.
Right. You met a lot of new people at McDonald's. You know, you had 100 people come past your register every day. That
It
was
would all be the
different.
same
I'm just
people. You start to learn the same people. You're like, oh hey, welcome back. You're like, same
did you
order.
did you did you ever like that job? Was it fun at
I
one
tell
point? I
people
mean,
all the
did you?
time. I was like, I would go back to McDonald's just because it was fun, but like, I don't want to do the whole like orientation course all over again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. It was a fun job. It was an easy job. I don't. It's not. It's not a hard job. It's really fun.
No. What is there something that you've learned about the industry? Something that's maybe surprised you? I mean, you kind of mentioned earlier on some of it's kind of fake, whether it's the cum shot or whatever. But I mean, anything else
It
that
froze.
is kind of
It froze.
oh, it froze.
It said,
You got me. Can you hear me now?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's something that you've learned about the industry that maybe has surprised you a little bit, besides, you know, the fact that some of the cum shots are fake at times or whatever, or staged. You know, anything else just about the industry in general that you kind of weren't expecting?
Mm, I didn't know like period sex was a whole thing. That was a whole like curious thing that happened. And when I
Mhm.
found out what happened, then I was like, and then
Yeah.
so I was just like, oh, you put a little sponge up there, and then you have to fish it out. That's not fun.
Hmm.
That was a bit. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if there's anything else that was crazy. The amount of like
Yeah.
BBLs and like things like that, because like I saw one and I was like, no, like that's not a BBL, like that's her real butt. It has dimples all over it. And someone was like, no, you're so sweet. Like no, that's enhanced. And I was like, oh, that looks good for her. I was like, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
very, yeah,
What about advice that you might give that you've been in about a year now? Is that right? I
yeah,
mean, a little less.
almost about.
Yeah. If you knew anyone that was coming to the industry right now, what advice would you give them?
I would say really, really, really research your agency because like
Hmm.
I have one agency and now I'm with a way better agency and
Right.
I appreciate what the first agency did for me, putting me out there. But like, it just depends on the goals that you want with what agency you should get because like certain ones do better at providing you better scenes, and other ones are better at providing you more
Mhm.
money. It just depends on what you're looking
Yeah.
for. I
Right.
think,
Well, I know you're with us.
yeah,
You're with Hussey Models now, and I know that they have really done a good job elevating you and your brand and getting you some good shoots. Those are good people over there. What about mentors or role models or just maybe someone that you've kind of become friends with, since you started? That's kind of become
uh,
a sounding board or whatever for you.
I would say like I have one that I really talk to where she's like in and out of the industry. She's not super consistent, but her and I like met on the same trip and like trauma bonded together. So we're like like, oh, we're friends now forever. And then I
Yeah.
have one where like her and I are from the same agency. Like her name's Molly Little. She's super sweet. Probably heard of her. She's super
Oh,
great. She's a super great girl. Super performer.
absolutely. Yeah, she's great.
She's
Yeah.
so great. Like if you go out with her, you're gonna have a great time. Like she's
Yeah.
she's
No,
the
Molly's
best. Like I
much like yourself. Molly's making a great name for
she
herself, in the industry.
I'm so
Last thing before we go into our second
yeah.
segment, but like, is this year kind of nears its end, and you look ahead to the future? I mean, do you set goals for yourself? What are some things you'd like to accomplish here moving forward?
Well, scene wise, I do want to like get like a vixen shoe. I think that would be really cool. I've heard it's been like
Hmm.
I've met with them. I just haven't gotten like a set date yet. Mm.
Yeah.
I don't really have any like really big goals just because I just want to like see what happens. I just want to keep working. That's like my only goal is just to keep working.
Yeah.
'Cause, with the
So many.
industry, bunch of ups and downs.
Yeah. So many girls, I feel like people try to pressure them into things they may not A, be comfortable with, or B, just be ready for. I mean, is the whole anal issue happen with you? I mean, like, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I
Um,
I'm really boring. I don't do anal. I don't let people like touch my butt. I tell people like I was like the only thing you can touch me, you can pull my hair. I was like just don't touch my butthole. Like that's my I'm doing
yeah.
my first rimming job on a guy. on
Coming up.
Saturday or Sunday, and it's only because I've worked with
Right.
this guy before, and he sent me a really sweet text being like, "What if I make sure like I make sure like if my butt hole's like super clean and like extra shaved?" And I was like, "Oh, like." The fact that you made like that effort to send me that text and like I know he lives like a super clean life, and I was like, I trust you.
Hmm.
I trust you. I'll do
Right.
it.
Who is it?
It's Brad Newman, like
Who is
super
it?
sweet. Like I think
Yeah.
he's a Midwestern
Yeah.
guy. He's just like the best.
Those Midwestern guys. Okay. Good. Well, that's the end of our first segment. We usually end this with a little thing we call quick pops, which is just some just quick, maybe not as in depth, but just some Q and A's. What about biggest turn-ons in a guy? Now I know you've had a boyfriend for a
I
long time,
asked
but
that
either way,
question.
like what's something that a guy can do that turns you
I
on?
love when they have like good sense of dark humor. If you can make me laugh, then we're off to a good start.
Gotcha. What anything that's a big no-no in your book, something that's going to turn you away real quick. Uh-oh.
Ooh, and they like ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any nice ones to say. They don't use their turn signal there. That's a nicer one.
Gotcha. What about sexually? Anything that turns you on that kind of puts you over the top when it comes
Oh,
to orgasming or
that
whatever?
turns me on.
Yeah.
I like to be dominated. Like that's like a whole like vibe for me. Because I have like the long hair. It feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there kinks and things that you maybe didn't know that you liked until you got into porn? Things you've discovered
I
about
didn't know I
yourself?
could choke myself. I get choked with my own hair. That was when I found that out. I was like, I was like, you guys unlocked new stuff. Thank.
Oh wow. I haven't heard that one before. I like that. Okay. Um, Besides the McDonald's parking lot, what's one of the riskiest places you've had sex?
Froze again. But I know the question.
Oh, sure.
It
Um,
froze.
Besides,
Ah.
you got me now.
It froze.
We'll
It
get
froze
it.
again. But it was like, where's the other like craziest spot I had sex?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
ask it again. Sorry. I said besides the McDonald's parking lot, what's somewhere really risky that you've had sex?
Like a church. It wasn't like full sex. It was like a blowjob, but it was like a church parking lot. Like while mass was happening, that I was supposed to be in.
Oh wow, while mass was
Yeah.
happening. Okay. Did you had you been in the church before mass and then went out and did it,
I
or
think I had my parents
did
drop
you?
me off, or it was like one of those long days where I had like a youth thing and then mass and then like a faith night. It was a whole.
Gotcha.
I had planned it to be there all day.
Now you froze. Damn.
Oh, did we freeze again?
Hold up, Madison. Sorry.
There we go.
There we
Okay.
go. We'll get through it. We'll get through it.
All
We can
good.
fix all this. What about favorite sexual
I'm a
position?
missionary girl. I like to be like eye contact. It's all good.
Yeah, good. If you were going to like watch a particular genre of porn, to get off, or maybe if you were with your guy, like what do you like to
I
watch?
usually go like three-way porn, like two girls, one guy. Just because I think it's like it usually
Hmm.
has a storyline. I can usually get like a babysitter, like sexy neighbor.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have much experience with girls before you got in, and what's that been like for you?
I had like a little experience with the girls. I'm still like new when it comes to girls, but I'm not like one of those girls where it's like I'm strictly straight. Like I enjoy a pretty woman. I can go down on them. I can enjoy their beauty type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anyone in porn that the site's called Porn Crush? So is there anyone you're kind of crushing on, or someone that you haven't worked with that yet that you'd like to uh
Yeah, I feel like everybody.
to
So
work
far, the
with?
people that I worked with, I've been crushing on. I'm just like so ready to work with them again. I can't think of anybody new.
Yeah.
I suck. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. What's something that you have in your like porn suitcase or duffel bag that you take to sets that you couldn't live
Well, I take
without?
my vibrator
Like
now. I take it all the time. And I'm like, oh, if
you did.
it's a little too big for me, I'm like, hey, like let's have some fun real quick. Like let me work it in with the vibrator. We'll have some. Just get it in there.
Gotcha. Is there do you do a lot of OnlyFans and get like do customs and stuff from fans?
I don't do too many customs, but I'll take a few requests here and there.
Yeah. Have you had any real weird ones from
My
anyone?
weirdest one that I didn't do is someone asking me to shove like a rosary inside of myself and like pulling it out. And I was like, ooh, that's a little too sacrilegious for me. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little over the top. I, I feel like every time I ask that question, someone has
It gets a little weirder.
a great answer. Yeah, yeah, no kidding. What about, is there a celebrity out there that you kind of, if you could, that you have a crush on?
Yes, his name. He's gay though. I don't remember. Came
Oh,
out in, like Mindhunters. He's also in like Hamilton. He's like guy. Remember?
okay.
Let's just say Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's hot. He's hot.
I'm
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. Okay. Um, what's the thing that you love the most about the porn industry?
I really like getting to meet new people because everybody has like a different story and like a different place that they come from. It's just like, oh, hi.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of interesting
Yeah.
backgrounds, right, in this
Yeah.
industry.
And sometimes
Cool.
you kind of
Yeah.
learn like you're like okay like this kind of person you kind of like place people. You're like oh like I've met someone like you before and you guys are similar. Like
Hmm. Is there something about the industry that you wish was different, or if you could change, or if you could change something?
I don't know. I feel like I'm too brand new in to say anything. I don't know anything. Stay out of the
Yeah,
drama.
that's true. Yeah, that's probably not the best question for a new girl. That's good. You call me out on that.
No.
That's good. You're right. If you when you're not working, what does Madison Wilde like to do with her free time?
Relax, watch TV, hang out with my dog, just be very chill. Stay home.
Mhm. Yeah, and you're a
I
homebody, I
am.
think, right? Didn't
Yeah.
you tell me that
I
before?
love being home. I love staying here. It's my place.
Did you ever have a period in your life where you were kind of a wild
Really? You
child, a
froze again?
partier? Oh, shoot.
We're back.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got me now. You got it. Okay, this is like we got like three questions left. Was there ever a period in your life where you were like a wild child or a partier, or have you always kind of been
My older sister was the wild child, so I had to be the good child.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Tell me about tell me about your pets.
I have
Or
I have
your
a wonderful husky. She's gonna be 2 years old. Her name is Aria. She's a little shithead.
mhm.
Then I had a Chihuahua senior, but now she lives with my parents. Her name is Bebe, and she
Right.
smells really bad. She has really bad breath, and like she has like this weird nipple that looks like a little penis.
She has
That's those are my wonderful
that
dogs.
is a good. She has a weird nipple that looks like a penis.
Yeah.
That's funny. Last thing, last thing. If you're leaving set and you're starving,
Ah.
where are you gonna go to eat, or what are you gonna eat? Ah, damn! One more. Are you there?
Yeah, there we
Are
go.
you there? You got it. Okay. Last question.
You're good.
Sorry about that. Um, if you're leaving set and you're starving, you haven't eaten all day, where are you going to go eat after a long shoot day, or what are you
I've
going
been
to eat?
going back to In and Out, and I'll get like if it's super hungry, I'll get a double mustard fried, extra pickles, no lettuce, no tomato, fries light with a lemon up, and a large root beer float. Yeah.
Wow, you said that. You have said that a time or
Oh, you
two.
know,
You know it
I
by
my
heart. You closed
exact
your eyes.
order. I'm like, no, I know exactly what I want.
And, did you get so sick of eating McDonald's food from working there that you don't like it
See,
anymore, or no?
I stopped eating it for about like a year, and then this past
Hmm.
year I've gotten back into eating it, so I'll have like a Big Mac now, and I'm like, oh, it's delicious.
Right.
I was like,
Is that your go-to at
it
McDonald's,
now
the
it
Big
is. It
Mac?
used to be the cheeseburger, but now the cheeseburgers gross me out because for some reason they're just a little like weird.
Yeah. I've always thought that the McDouble was like the best value for like the it's
It
not on the
was.
dollar menu
Now
anymore. It's a
the
little like
prices are ridiculous.
yeah, but it's still a damn good
Oh, it
burger
is
like
for like
you
$2.
know
Yeah,
$3 or whatever.
I'm like I could feed my.
Yeah, yeah, hell of a deal. And then and I don't think enough people know about McFlurries either because
The
those are pretty
McFlurries
damn
are
good.
good, but then like the whole point of the McFlurry is for it to be stirred, and it's never stirred. It's never stirred.
So you have to stir it yourself. You're right. They just put it on top, and you got to really mix
Yeah,
it
see,
up. But yeah.
yeah.
That's my take on McFlurries. But anyway, Madison, thanks for taking some time for us tonight. You're really doing a great job. I keep hearing so many good things about you, and we're looking forward to following your career and then also
Yeah,
meeting you in
I'm
person
excited to
sometime
meet
soon.
you.
You too.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.